This is a story that was written in one of the storybooks of Chabad, and there's a lot of similar stories that are written. And here we got an example. Here we were talking about this just before. So there was a young Israeli boy. This story must have happened 50 years ago, maybe more. A young Israeli boy, and from a family from a kibbutz. A kibbutz. A lot of the people from the kibbutz in Israel were, they're Jews, but a lot of them were very non-religious, anti-religious. It's sort of changed now. I mean, it's changed actually drastically, now. And since this massacre, it's changed even more so. There's more and more Jews that just want to strengthen their Judaism. There's more, especially in the army. In any case, it was a time when there was, very anti-religion, very anti-religion, and they had their motivations, their reasons, and everything. Okay, so and then this boy, his name is Yoni. Yoni, and this story was told in 770. It was told by a young man in 770 that he was one of the pupils over there, and he says he wants to tell everybody a story that he heard. They said there was a young man and his name was Yoni. He was a boy of, I guess 13 years old, something like 13, 12 years old. And he lived in one of these kibbutzim, and he complained of big pains or whatever. And he was taken to the doctor, and they said that he has cancer and that it's terminal. There's nothing they can do about it. So his parents, they said, what about treatments? And they advised against the treatments. They said it's just going to make him weak and miserable, and he'll spend the last few months of his life in misery and weak, and it's just gone too far. Just nothing's going to help. And so his parents said, okay, let's take the last 2 months of his life and we'll travel around the world. We'll be together with him. We'll take pictures, we'll have what to remember, and his last days will be, happy. And so they did. They traveled around and they went to Europe and they turned to this, and they went also to New York. They're walking through New York, Manhattan, and suddenly they hear this sort of clarinet music, blaring all over the thing. And this Jewish, and they look over, there's this sort of what's it called, like a camper, a big camper, and it's got all these pictures of like a Chassid dancing with holding a bottle of vodka or something and dancing. This happy music coming out, happy. So the little boy says, "What's that, Daddy?" And his father says, "I don't know. So he says, "Let's go and see." So they go over, and one of the Chabad boys over there says, "Excuse me, sir, are you Jewish?" So his father said, "Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here." So his son said, "Well, what is it?" So the boy, he hears him speaking in Hebrew. Says, "Oh, you're Israelis. Here, come put on tefillin." So his father says, "Let's just get out of here. Let's get away from these people." So his son says, "No, what are they doing? What is this happy music?" So his mother says to the husband, "Leave him alone. Leave his son. Leave him alone. He wants to, So he said, "Oh, he says, well, you go ask him." So the boy goes and says, "What is this?" He said, "Oh, we're Chabad, we're Chassidim, and we're here to put tefillin on Jews and make Jews happy." He says, "Oh yeah, I want to be happy. But what is this tefillin? What is Chabad? What are you talking about?" He said, "Oh, it's a commandment for all the Jews. Here, your father, here, come in. He said, "Father, here, come on, put on tefillin." So his father said, "Listen, just leave me alone. Just, no, thank you very much." So his wife says, so the boy says, "Come on, why don't you do it, Dad?" He says, "There's a picture." Anyway, so they dray him a cup and they make him crazy. So the father says, the son really all of a sudden gets locked in on this thing. "Why not do it? Come on, Dad, do it. So his father wants the son to have a good time, right? That's the whole reason that they're there, even though it means that, at the expense of him, having a miserable time. But his wife says, "Just put him on. What do you care?" So his father puts on the tefillin. He says, "Oh, good, wonderful. How old is your son?" So I think he wasn't bar mitzvah yet. It wasn't bar mitzvah. He's 12 years old. So, well, good. What are you doing over here? So the son says, I'm sick, and we're taking a." He said, "Oh, really? What sickness do you have?" Said, oh, I've got cancer, and we're going around the world. And so the young man says, hey, listen, there's the Lubavitcher Rebbe. He's done amazing miracles for people. And, maybe you can do for him also, just give him. The man said, listen, do me a favor, please. I'll give you money here. Take a nice donation and just let us go. Come on, we just want to have a good time. I said, well, I don't want money. I don't want, you want to give money, you can give money, but we don't want money. We're not here for money. We're here to make you feel good. You want to feel good in a Jewish way. Maybe I can even arrange, that the Rebbe will talk to you. We'll talk to you. He said, listen, I don't really want. The boy says, maybe his wife says, listen, we've tried everything else and all the doctors gave up. Maybe, so the father is like, really, he really fell into the trap, wow, how can I get out of this? So he can't get out of it. He can't show that he's miserable, he's angry, because it'll wreck up the whole thing. And that's the whole reason that they're there. And the son seems to be enjoying it. He's enjoying it. It's an unusual thing. They've already seen enough mountains and hills and buildings and, the capitals and whatever it is, and rivers. Here's something they haven't seen before. And so he says, okay, give me your phone number and I'll see if I can arrange it and I'll get in touch with you. So the father says, oh, at least I'm getting rid of this guy. So here's the number. Here's the number of the hotel. We're staying at this hotel. Here's a card. Here's my name. His wife also gives him the card of the hotel. Make sure that, her husband isn't tricking him. Gives him the number. And that's it. They go. Sure enough, that evening, he gets a phone call. The guy gets a phone call. Phone call from Mr. Erez. So he answers. He said, hey, remember, I'm this guy you met. The Rebbe said that he's willing to see you tomorrow evening, 8:00. Where is this? 770 Eastern Parkway. Come. His wife said, let's go. The son said, oh yeah, let's go. Anyway, so they go. So they go, and there's all these religious people, and they're really nice. The religious people are nice, and the son is sort of enjoying the whole business. He's sort of enjoying this, and he's sort of enjoying it more than he did, seeing the hills of whatever it is of Switzerland, or the cows in the field. So he's enjoying the whole business, and everybody's saying, oh, hello, how are you? And everybody's saying hello to him. And he sees that the boys are running and they're going and they're talking and eat to each other, and they're sitting and learning Torah and arguing with each other. And he's never seen such things like this. So the father says, let's get this thing over with. Anyway, so finally he says, okay, your turn. So they go in, and the Rebbe says, I've heard that so he gives the Rebbe all the papers. They told him already to bring the x-rays and everything like that. And the Rebbe brings the x-rays. They bring the x-rays to the Rebbe. And the Rebbe looks at it and he says, I don't think it's that serious. I don't think it's that serious. And so the father says, well, he's probably going to ask for money or something like that. So he says, how much do you want? The Rebbe said, oh, I don't want any money, but it doesn't seem to be that serious. I think that if you keep kosher, that you'll see that everything will just go away. You'll see it's nothing. So the father says, wow, this is a real charlatan. This guy is really off the wall. All the big doctors, we've spent wasted no money. We went to all the big experts, all the big professors, and they all say clearly what it is. And here's the x-rays. You can see what he's got. He says, I have to keep kosher, and that's it. So he said, just keep kosher and it'll be okay. So he said, that's really, well, he said, the Rebbe said, there's all the Torah and the commandments and etc., whatever it is. Anyway, that's the main thing he said. If you just keep kosher, everything will be okay. Good. So they left, they went out, and the father, he can't show his anger because the boy sort of enjoyed the whole business, and his wife especially. His wife, and the father is just trying to hold it in, just saying, get out of here. This is every reason that I hate these religious people. So his wife says, so he says to his wife, what a, I can't believe the how do you say, the duplicity of these people. So he said, his wife said, well, I think maybe there's something to it. What do we got to lose? So what do you mean, what do we have to lose? Come on. All the doctors said, what is he giving us false hope for? Absolutely nothing for. You're going to see that. She said, listen, he didn't want any money. He didn't ask for anything. He just gave us advice to keep kosher. So his father said, "Oh, come on, I'm not going to do that." His wife said, "Listen, we're as it is. We're not at home. We have to eat out anyway. So let's find a kosher restaurant. Let's go to we're not lacking money. We'll go to the grocery store. We'll only buy things that have a kosher sign. We'll go to a Jewish market and we'll ask them what's kosher." So the father has no choice. So they say, "Okay." He says, "Okay." So they start eating kosher, right? They have no choice. A couple of days later, the boy says, "I feel good. I feel really good." He was always taking like pain pills and things like that. And he's saying, "I feel good. I don't feel any pain." The doctors told him when pain sets in, you take one pill. If it's not enough, you take two. So the boy starts feeling good and they can't figure out what's going on and he doesn't want any more pills. So they go to another doctor and he takes an x-ray and he says, what exactly is supposed to be the problem? So they show him the x-rays and he says, "I don't understand what's going on." And they didn't understand what was happening. And sure enough, everything went away. The whole disease went away. And his father was just, burst out crying. And his mother just was, out of her mind. And they were hugging him and they were kissing. They said it was all because of this Rebbe guy and because of these. So they went back and they said, "What can we do? How much can we pay? What can we do?" Says, "Listen, you want to give $20 million, you can give, but if the Rebbe's not asking for money, he's not asking for money. You don't want to give anything. What the Rebbe really wants is that you should start doing commandments. That's what he wants." So his father said, "Tell me what to do, and I'll do whatever I want." And that's how a couple became religious. And that's the story that this young man told. And somebody asked, "Where did you hear that story from?" And the young man said, "Because I'm Yoni. I'm the one that it happened to. It happened to me. And I was the boy in the story. And my parents, they became religious. They had an effect on the whole entire kibbutz." So we see that blessings can change the whole entire world. How this works, I have no idea. But one thing for sure is that disease is extra. It's not supposed to be here. And it says that in Mount Sinai, that when God spoke on Mount Sinai, that all the blind could see, that all the deaf could hear,
Crippled.
mute could speak. That's, by the way, how Moses, he had a speech impediment. That's why afterwards he was able to speak because he got cured. All the lame could walk. And that's what's going to be in the Gula Emitit Vashlema by means of Mashiach Tzidkenu, that everyone is going to be healthy and happy.
Amen.
Mashiach now. See you all, God willing, tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday, 8:15 in the morning. We will finish the Torah Or. Shalom, everyone.